Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Jake.
My name is Garrett.
And my name is Dare. And this is To Be Continued, where we'll be continuing all your favorite stories from TV, movies, and anything else pop culture related.
Tonight's topic's going to be the Nolanverse, more specifically, how we would continue the Dark Knight storyline, Christian Bale.
Batman.
Okay, first of all, I'm super excited for this one because I'm a huge fan of the entire storyline. Christopher Nolan's genius. The most latest reiteration of Batman didn't score so highly on my charts.
That's just because Dark Knight was great, man. That's still my top favorite film ever. Quick, offhanded, Batman's Dark Knight. That's my favorite movie. Not superhero movie, but movie.
That makes sense. It's probably a lot of people's. It's like
the villain.
It's one of those. Yeah, and that's like the thing people remember it most for is like just the iconic performance by Heath Ledger's Joker.
But
it's also just like a great film, just more so than just like a good superhero movie. You know what I mean? It just stands alone, like you said, with the performances, just the duality between the characters, the protagonist, the antagonist. Christian Bale is not necessarily a household name, but he's definitely someone who has been recognized by the Academy going into this with American Psycho and other instances. So it definitely felt more like an art house film version of Batman, and I think that lended for it. Just obviously with it being just kind of it's coming. I think from a production standpoint, Christopher Nolan, Jonathan Nolan, and his entire team was probably looking at it at a different angle. You know what I mean? Whereas where you're looking at Batman versus Superman, you're expanding a universe, you're trying to build a universe. Like with these, they're very condensed. He had one rule and he wanted to make it as grounded as possible, and it lended very well to pretty much everything. I don't know, I guess I'm not the biggest fan of 3. I think Batman Begins in a lot of ways is better than Dark Knight in my opinion, but I know that's like a weird opinion, but I think Batman Begins is equally as perfect as Dark Knight. It's just where Rises comes in where I'm just like, I don't know.
I wasn't a huge fan of Rises, but I think when you look at the bigger picture and look at Christopher Nolan's idea of Batman compared to all the earlier Batmans, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, I think definitely I'm spacing on his name. The first one, Michael Keaton. That was a great performance and everything. It was a good serious first take. But kind of like everything after that, it just kind of slowly deteriorated until Christian Bale. It was like Christian Bale was like the first take on it that was like the most serious and kind of.
It reinvigorated the tone of the.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I think. I don't know.
I think Dark Knight Rises is only difficult to kind of watch, is only because of the plot twist with Talia and the ending, where it's the ambiguous ending where you see him at the coffee scene. I didn't think you even needed to leave that. You could just have Batman dying in the explosion, or have him say that he got away, but don't show the coffee scene where he's alive and well and just chill. It kind of throws it off, and even if it's a dream sequence, then it's why am I watching this dream sequence just to know that Alfred,
I don't think that was a dream sequence. Was that a dream sequence?
I don't think it was. I think it was.
I think that was real.
I'm happy that they showed it just because it showed that he was alive. I guess that's super
limited. If it is real, then it's just it's kind of disappointing.
Okay, well, let's do it this way. So, after that scene, that happens. What would be your next step after if there were to be a fourth in the Dark Knight series?
I prepared for this because I don't like the ending, and I found it really difficult if you think about how to continue a story where the main hero is maybe alive or dead, or if he is alive. I took it as he's dead, but the person you see across the table from Alfred is the Hush Batman character, the Hush villain.
I'm unfamiliar.
Hush is Thomas Elliot, who takes the identity of Bruce Wayne. He takes certain facial features off of random humans and piece together his own surgical mask of Bruce Wayne and walks around as Bruce Wayne. I was thinking you could do that. So you pick up at the end of the movie where it's Hush is who he saw. He was just him trying to test out the Christian Bale face. It was just a test run that Alfred sees. And so, it doesn't make sense when you get Selena Kyle there too, but yeah, we're just going to move past that part. So basically Hush goes back to the Bruce Wayne's manor and acts as Bruce Wayne, while Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the new Batman, and he's rolling the streets and trying to, you know, hold up that mantle. And then he sees Bruce back in Gotham, and then he's like, Bruce, I mean, I've tried to do, you know, my best. And he could bring Hush, or Hush posing as Bruce, into the Batcave, where Hush sees like, oh my gosh, this guy was Batman too. I didn't know that. I just wanted to be Bruce Wayne. So then he like ends up, I was thinking he could double cross Gordon-Levitt as Batman and like take all of his stuff, take his Batmobile and leave Gordon hanging, and drives off now as like an evil Batman shooting up the streets and posing as Bruce Wayne. It's more like a chaos driven rather than like what's Hush's ultimate goal. I feel like you can leave that. It would be cool to see that not be revealed of like what does he want out of Bruce Wayne, but see him exploiting Bruce Wayne, not in a like, oh, here I'm a famous luxury man, but like to get into like certain departments of Wayne Enterprises, like to find like new weapons and like what is he doing, what's his goal here. And Gordon doesn't know, but now he's got an evil Batman running the streets. So I was thinking that's cool where you get Alfred to come back too, seeing like an evil Batman. Alfred's like, what's going on? And he talks to Gordon and gives him a life lesson to become Nightwing. And then Nightwing versus evil Batman, where he has to like kind of fight his mentor, fight for his independence, and save Gotham in his own light. That was
okay.
Quick little pitch there.
Yeah.
Is that all one movie?
I was thinking that as all one movie, like the continuing of the other movies. You get like because I took it as like Bruce Wayne really died. Like, how do you continue the story of the Nolanverse?
So you're saying it's a dream?
No, I'm saying it was Hush. The character posed as Bruce Wayne.
Gotcha.
That was at the end of the scene. It doesn't work since Selena Kyle is there, but you know.
Cool.
I think I love the idea of bringing Joseph Gordon-Levitt into it. I'm a big fan of like the kind of him.
It does work.
Yeah,
there.
Yeah. The way Dark Knight Rises was great.
You know what I mean, like she could just be working with him.
With the way the Dark Knight Rises ended, it was like just obviously Joseph Gordon-Levitt about to take up the mantle of Batman, you know, and I think it'd be cool to like have him do his Nightwing character because he wants to be different, you know, and have it be a following along with that. And
it should definitely be like an idolization of Batman, but also like me doing my own version of this.
I like the idea of Batman coming back, like them going back to that sequence and him actually being alive, and it just kind of like would have it spin it like Joseph Gordon-Levitt is overwhelmed or something like that, needs help, and he ends up having to come back. What do you think of the idea that like what brings him back is the idea that there's a Superman that just came back, and it's kind of like the Batman versus Superman thing at first. What with Christian Bale?
Him coming back because there's a Superman.
Like that's the thing that brings him back, because you remember how it was kind of like in Man of Steel, like Batman saw him as a threat, so that was like he knew he needed, like kind of like that.
I'm trying to think of that same conflict in the Nolan-verse. Like, would Christian Bale's Batman come down to see like what would
he wouldn't confront him, but he would definitely like do his research on him, you know. And then it would end up being like Superman being like, "What the hell are you doing?" Maybe a little like tension at first, but inevitably having them team up, kind of like an American. What was it? The movie with the two of them in it, America's Finest or something?
Oh, World's Finest.
World's Finest.
That's where those two are like outsiders and like, or not outsiders, but they're like outlaws to the country because it's President Luther. But
never mind.
See, well, no, I mean that the one you're thinking of is The Dark Knight Returns with Frank Miller.
But I wouldn't want to have them like facing off per se. Okay. Maybe a little bit at first, but in the end.
Do you want them to be in direct conflict with each other, or are you thinking like?
At first, I want them to be in like. Yeah, I think it'd be nice to have like a kind of a conflict in the beginning, but again, like having them ultimately team up to destroy. I guess that's exactly what Batman vs Superman was.
Well, but is
the problem with that movie isn't like the concept; it's the execution.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That was done.
They did it really bad.
Is Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne still Batman?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it'd be like the kind of like the same idea with like Dark Knight Rises, how he comes back and he just puts the suit back on after a couple of years, you know, like again.
Whatever.
Similar-ish.
It might as well. I mean,
like he has to. You can't have Christian Bale come back and not have him be Batman or Superman.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like That'd be cool, but then you like maybe the movie goes into Metropolis more. So like, you kind of have Gotham, like Bruce rallying up his like forces in Gotham versus the Man of Steel Superman. I'm trying to think of like a way that they could like, kind of Batman recognizes the threat and like gears up for it, like actually prepares for it, and then goes after him.
Like he has the whole like Bat family with him to help him, like Nightwing and like Batgirl
I'm thinking
and all
having
that.
Nightwing, yeah, maybe his forces could grow, because then you're
Damian Wayne's there too.
Damian Wayne.
No.
Or maybe like Selena Kyle's son instead.
Oh yeah, Selena Kyle would
That'd
definitely
be
be there. Anne Hathaway, give her a good reason to come back. Love Anne.
Love Anne.
What are you thinking over there?
I don't know, man. Like this like whole universe that Nolan made is so grounded and like
It really is
surreal that like Batman meeting Superman, it's like hard to picture that because then like Superman has to be grounded, but then like the whole like
Man of Steel
thing that well, I mean that's like a grounded
that's more
take. I mean,
version
Christopher
of
Nolan
like
definitely had
grounded.
a hand in that. Like that was definitely inspired by his doing with Batman. He's even a producer on that film. You know what I mean? So it's like. Still though, to have him show up in that grounded world, it's like the existence of Superman already like ungrounds the whole world that like was set up in those three. So that's not where like my head immediately goes. But then I also think about like the whole death shit at the end, and it's like, well, that just kind of ruins it. So then I was like, okay, I don't really want Christian Bale there. And then I'm like, all right, so who's Batman? And then you were talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I'm just like, I don't really want him as Batman either. Like that was like not earned at all. Like he just showed up for a film and then like they like just call him Robin at the end. It's just like, okay, cool. But like, what was the point of that? And if the point of that is to give him his own film, I'm not excited. I don't walk away from that feeling excited. So my head automatically goes to, and this is what I hope that they do with Michael Keaton, especially with like these Elseworld films that they seem to be doing with this Joker movie, just kind of being like a one-off Elseworld type comic, but on film. I don't know. I guess, like I said, I would like this with Michael Keaton like tomorrow, but probably just like a Batman Beyond type thing.
Yes.
And then have
I
like
love that idea.
have it be that he did kill off Bruce Wayne, but like he is dead. Like people think Bruce Wayne's been dead all this time in the future, but he's still been alive, and he's just been living and protecting and like living as Batman and like serving the city through this young Terry.
That's a great idea.
Terry
yeah.
Batman. And then there's a part of the movie where Terry like convinces him to like out himself, like to say like you're fucking alive, like, and maybe that'll be like the end. Like,
maybe he's like,
so you don't necessarily
the world
want
finds out that like Bruce Wayne's been alive this whole time. I don't know.
So you don't necessarily want that to be like a continuation of the Nolan-verse. You want that to be one of these new like Elseworld stories.
No, I'm just saying that like
because it could work for both.
I'm saying that if I'm also looking at it from the perspective of making this today in 2018.
Yeah.
Like with all the like, I feel like once you leave the character, like if we're continuing after 2009, yeah, maybe like Batman Beyond isn't working that well. But my head immediately was like, once you step away from the character and like someone else takes it on, it's hard for me to like not want. I'm talking about Batman. Like once someone steps away, like an actor steps away from the character, and then there's talks of like people coming back. Like when Tobey Maguire was like being praised, like, oh, bring Tobey Maguire back, like for Spider-Man. It's like I can picture that more easily without it being like, oh, it's got to be a different take on Batman. And immediately, if like you're bringing back the old character, I feel like Batman Beyond is the best story to serve that, because then you also foster in a new actor with this younger Batman, like with Terry. But then you also get the old flair, and then you get that cool duality. And hell, maybe even you kill him at the end, like old Batman. You do Christian Bale one more movie, he's the mentor. He fucking gets killed. Terry loses his fucking mentor, and then he's faced it. And then he even like tells the world that Bruce Wayne was Batman back in the day.
Maybe that,
you know what I mean? Like after he dies, like it's like he like tells them, you know what I mean? Like people think he's been dead all this time, and it's like, yeah, but he was Batman. Like he was the proof. Like
I think that would be a good way to bring that
Terry
chronology,
himself, but you know what I mean? Like get him the recognition from the city that he loved and protected all this time. Like I think the Batman Begins story,
when Bruce Wayne dies is what you're saying.
Yeah, like if you killed him at the end of this shit.
Yeah.
But what if you have that be the reason Bruce dies? So
Did they never found out at the end of Dark Knight Rises, right? It was just Gordon.
I don't think so.
No.
They found out, but
The
Gordon.
city never knew, right?
Yeah.
I
don't believe the city
thinks
knew.
he dies.
But they don't know he's Batman.
They don't
But
know
they
Bruce
don't know
Wayne
he's
is Batman.
Batman,
But
no one-
Gordon does.
Gordon does.
But if there was a new Batman, then you could tell the city, I feel like.
Okay, this is what I was going to ask you.
What
would you think of having it? I love the idea of the Batman Beyond. That's like, I'm obsessed. I've always been obsessed with Batman Beyond. What do you think if Joseph Gordon-Levitt did it? Like, he was who they adapted. And, like, it was kind of like,
too.
Like straight away from the Terry McGinnis character and made it like this.
You could pitch me on that, yeah. Why do you think Joseph Gordon-Levitt would be like a good Batman?
I just think it's a great example of it because he's already kind of a hothead. Exactly who Terry McGinnis was. Yeah. That's kind of the reason why he's a little older, like, because Terry McGinnis, if I remember correctly, was like in high school or something like that.
Yeah, he's a young kid.
Yeah, exactly. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt's he's older. He's been on the force for a little bit. He's a little bit more seasoned, but at the same time, he's got that same like vigor, attitude, kind of drive that he could. And he's still young. He still has the youth to be the Batman Beyond character.
Using Levitt would allow you to make this movie like you wouldn't even have to call it Batman Beyond, but you could just take the whole shell of what I said, like having Bruce Wayne operate in the background.
Yeah,
and
Christian
then eventually,
Bale's still
if
there,
he does die, like say Christian Bale's like, fuck this, like I'm not even Batman anymore, like kill me off. They kill him off. That's such a good moment for the city. Like you could reveal it, or you could just fucking have like more motivation for Levitt's character to be a better Batman or whatever. Yeah. Like embody that 10 times harder. If his mentor and the whole reason that he's even doing all this just died at the hands of whatever threat or whatever it is. But
yeah, I see what
that's
you're
a way to do that though, like without even doing like a time jump though. That's interesting.
If you use Joseph Gordon-Levitt as that mentor figure, then it's a little bit hard to like take when he dies, because then you're thinking like, okay, I never even really saw Gordon's story, and he just died, and it's like, right. I don't feel that same weight. That
you feel a connection to
him. Yeah. Well, and then also it's kind of hard to say.
Well, I'm saying Christian Bale would die.
Christian Bale dying at the end is great. I think you can still put Terry McGinnis, or not Terry McGinnis, but Nightwing, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We say Joseph Gordon-Levitt instead of Robin. But
well, what's his actual name in the movie again?
John Blake or
John Robin Blake.
Yeah, something like that. Like James Blake. Like that's a singer, but I don't know.
I think it's John.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
So
it's Blake
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it'd be cool to see him in the movie and show that he tried as Nightwing, but failed. The city just has gotten worse, and that we need some. Maybe he could be like, maybe I wasn't enough, and he went to Bloodhaven, and I want to see that his story continued. We just didn't see it. We're just picking up with the new Batman mantle, because Batman is what the city actually needs, not Nightwing, but we need another Batman.
Gotcha.
And so you have Terry McGinnis, and they're grooming him to be better, with Christian Bale there.
What if like Terry McGinnis ends up being like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's son or something, and like that's the connection?
You get you definitely have that.
Throw a little bit more generational gap there. Makes it a little bit more.
Do you think a Justice League would ever have worked in that world?
No, and it's for the exact same reason that, I think it was you that convinced me during this podcast that it was
Superman's gonna be hard to work.
Yeah, it would be way too hard. I wish
it's just because he works so hard at like making it feel real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
he does.
It's not that it wouldn't work; it would just discredit those three films. It would be hard to watch Batman Begins again, knowing that like Aquaman's like doing his fish shit like in 4 movies later. You know, it's a little weird.
And, I mean,
it definitely works for Man of Steel. Even though they completely mess up in my opinion.
Now, if each of those had 3 solo movies alongside Batman Begins and all that, maybe it would work.
I don't know
if they all had the same like build up, you know what I mean, and respect. Because then when they're coming together, you already love these characters and understand them. That's like a lot of the reason why Avengers works, is because each of them had their own movie to like.
And it's like
at least know what's up.
Well, Man of Steel, I still don't think was like that great though.
No, it definitely wasn't.
That was execution.
I feel like
it was no Iron Man, that's for sure.
Granted, if you give them 3 movies, they'll probably get their stuff together like Thor Ragnarok like that. And I'm not, trying to be so harsh in the movies. It's just like
that's a great point.
That's what I mean. If you give them time to correct those mistakes with those characters,
just
instead of
tone for the character,
exactly, instead of just jumping ship and changing their tone.
Like I honestly, you can't look at Man of Steel and be like, oh yeah, they weren't inspired by Nolan. Like he's a producer on the film, and it's like they took that dark approach, and it just didn't work with Superman. Like it's just
not really.
Favorite.
Yeah,
it's not everyone's favorite.
I think Green Arrow's the only one who could really be in that world as well.
They do that on Arrow, and it works. Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, Arrow aside, this whole CW thing, I feel like we could get a cooler Green Arrow that kind of matches Batman.
You would definitely need something more gritty.
And
I don't know.
I mean, okay, well, maybe not gritty in that dark tone, but I would like to see something more like explicit violence. Well, okay, that doesn't work in this movie, in that franchise, but it'd be cool to see a Green Arrow that like you see the arrow and blood like drip from the arm or like wherever he hits. So he could be like a. Well, okay, how about this? So like Batman.
So you want a bloody, or like kind of more gory?
I want a more anarchy like Green Arrow.
Because
So-
remember, they didn't show blood throughout any of the Dark Knight movies.
I know. We pulled up this fact, and none of the movies show like blood.
PG-13, man.
Maybe you show shadows. I want to feel the
Blood
intent.
is the number one thing that'll get you an R rating. It's like a fun fact. It's just a.
Well,
I wanna feel the
Batman vs
intensity.
Superman was PG-13, and I remember. Oh wait, because I remember at one point when they like show that badass scene where
the blood
only
can be a
badass
different
scene,
color and it's not blood.
it showed blood. I
Like
can't.
an
Like
aliens or
when
something.
you're rating it, like if it's green or something, like it's not blood. So it could be like you could literally do the same blood effects and then go into like After Effects and then change it to like orange and it's not blood. Like it's literally that's how it has to be red and it has to be like
Yeah.
blood. But like it's so weird because it's like, well, no, someone's still getting fucking stabbed just because they're
Yeah,
bleeding green
Yeah.
doesn't take away the grotesqueness. But like that's just how ratings work. It's weird, dude. It's
Yeah,
like
as
the
long
same
as-
rule
yeah.
with like one F word. You know what I mean? Like that's like the
Yeah,
magic
that was
rule.
weird. That was
Yeah.
like when Venom had one F word, and it just totally. It was just.
First
weird.
Class, X-Men First Class, when they walk into the bar, go talk to Wolverine, he says "fuck off."
I
And the
did
X-Men,
like
yeah,
that
that's
part.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a weird
And then,
part.
like in Days of Future Past, James
used it
McAvoy
because
says
that's,
it
like,
back to
character
him.
driven.
Like he says, "I'm gonna tell you what you told me at the bar." Fuck off.
It was so out of place for Venom, and to think that like if
I
they
haven't
wanted
seen
to,
it.
the Marvel
Is it-
movies could say fuck.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. There's a random F word though.
In Venom, yeah, it's
Of course,
it's
there is.
literally like so. I know it's like so out of character. He's literally just like, fuck it, like I'm gonna go save these people. It's like, okay, you could have had more.
Fuck
Like,
it.
you know, like that's all he didn't even say like fuck you or
Fuck
like,
it.
you know.
Yeah, you got them, Venom. You showed them, dog. You fucking got them.
Really, totally confused movie.
Damn.
But back to the aspect of Batman.
No, but that just shows,
Um,
like, again, like it's hard. It's hard to like.
Put superhero. Well, super.
It's just in
powers.
the
To
world
figure out
that's
a
already
tone.
existing, and then when
Mhm.
you're trying to continue it, I just think that my problems with Rises, and this is like gonna sound like I hate the movie, and I don't. It's just like I don't like the villain, and just Tom Hardy's like cool, like looks cool, but like I just don't get like his even backstory when it finally reveals it, and it's just like
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan either.
it didn't really like impact me as an audience member, and it never really has since I've watched it again over time. Like even getting older, I thought maybe it just went over my head, and like I
Yeah.
get it. It's
Yeah.
just not good. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like it doesn't hit me in the jaw. Like it doesn't really like have that breakthrough moment for the character where it's like aha, like
Now I
that's
know
why
what
they're
it
doing
is.
this, or
Yeah.
like now I understand. Didn't get that.
It was to kind of just explain Talia, give her legitimacy in her villainous like
Right.
twist.
And that's the one part of the movie where I'm okay with that though. Like I don't think it was rewarded, but I get what they like. That whole reveal is kind of cool. Where like he's like fucking her in the beginning of the movie, and then like she just like turns on him real
Flip-flops,
quick, and
yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
so paid attention to all this other bullshit that it's like. You know, you even have like Scarecrow popping up in that court scene
Yeah.
like a few minutes
Oh, yeah.
before. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely trying to distract you. Where it's like that would have been so much more rewarded if it was just surrounded by a good movie, in my opinion. Like,
The thing that irritates me
Yeah.
about Rises is that if you were to jump in like 45 minutes into the movie, you had never seen a Dark Knight movie before, and you watch for 30 minutes, you would have no idea what you're watching.
exactly.
You know, they try and go like expand way too much, and it's just like at a
it's
certain
too
point, it's
much.
like I'm not even watching a Batman movie. You know, this is like just like a drama, and then to each his own. You know, some people liked it, and I personally wasn't a fan. It's like Batman was only in like 40% of the movie. If
Doesn't
that.
he heal his broken back in like 10 days?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
Yeah,
you don't like
it
the
seems
character
Like,
being
like how do
taken
you not
out
have a
of the movie.
time jump when you tell the Bane story? He
Mhm.
broke his back.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna break his back, which he does in the comics and you did in the movie, the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
like it's just
Yeah.
there's so many of those little things where it's
Did
like
they not have a time jump?
I don't think there was much of a time jump, and like that was one of the things that raised
Yeah.
me.
No, in this city, it really like they played it present and slow and like linear, but with the when it was in the cave and stuff, just you didn't really have a good sense of time between the two. And
It
when-
seemed as though a lot of time was going by though.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times going by in the cave, but not like it's very slowly.
You could have added a title card that said 3 months later. Like, it would have been lame. Like, you could have been.
Or this a character just being like, it's been 3 months since we've had
like, that's more their style, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, what would you rather have to, like, continue, like, Bane? What would you want it to have, like, the real, like, Amazon fucking
this is outside
story?
Of
like,
their, I mean, are you saying if I'm making a third one?
Or a fourth one?
Or a fourth one? Because I wouldn't use Bane at all in a fourth one. But
no, if you had the option to redo the Dark Knight Rises, would you replace Bane?
See, and this sucks. This really sucks, and this is just a sentence that I'm going to say, and this is the truth. It's like you had a Oscar-winning performance from someone who passed away. You can't follow that up with any villain. You can't. Like, you could try, but it's still not going to work. Like, no one's going to feel that way. Like, that was such lightning in a fucking bottle.
Yeah.
That it's like coming on after, like, it's like having a comedy show. You have 3 people, and the guy in the middle is the funniest. The last guy is going to have a fucking... Even if he's the funniest guy on the bill at the beginning of the night, if that middle guy killed his set, like, he just fucking knocked it out of the park. That guy's backstage still shitting bricks because he's like, I'm not that funny. He's apparently the funniest. This guy could have been the most perfectly casted Bane. We could have picked someone... Tom Hardy is the perfectly casted Bane, too, and that's... Yeah. It's hard to follow that.
Yeah.
So when you ask me that, it's like... there's a lot of cool villains that I think would have been awesome, but I think you stay away from the Riddler. I don't think you go anything psychological. I think it's smart to go something like buff as hell, following the Joker. Following the Joker. You can't do another like psychologically something
for
like
the third movie. Yeah.
It makes sense why you would go with Bane. You're going with a brute force. Like that's the exact opposite. Of, like, so people can't compare it as easily. It's a smart choice. It's just again. You hit it so fucking hard out of the park that all people want to see is the impossible, and it's the continuation of that story. You never kill the Joker.
What if
you know what I mean? We never kill him in the actual movie. He's alive still. He's not dead. He gets captured. There's going to be more to it. You know what I mean? It's just life came in the way, but it's like, who do you follow with? Like, I would love to see, like, what Mr. Freeze would look like in that.
Oh! No!
Yes,
I know.
Yes, high five. High five.
I'm only saying this because it's such a travesty to see, like, and if you played the Arkham games, I guess you've had, like, a cool Mr. Freeze. He's okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like if you were to do like something like Hugo Strange, but that's like
Hugo Strange would work into a Mr. Freeze story, though. I think you could. He's such.
So what about just like a whole like Arkham?
Okay, hold on. That was one of the ideas right there.
I'm just saying that if the one thing that Nolan does is that he was like finding these like Scarecrow isn't very known, like Ra's al Ghul wasn't very known prior to that. Like these are people who were not in previous movies though, really.
Not in he doesn't have
they weren't popping.
No.
So he made it like it almost felt like to me he was approaching these like I'm gonna pick these obscure people and I'm gonna make them like kind of more popular. Like I don't want people to come into this being like, where's Two-Face? Like I want you to like understand I forget the guy who is Scarecrow. I was gonna say Edward Nygma.
Jonathan Crane.
There you go. Jonathan Crane. But he's like making them more realistic, more grounded. I think that if you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's portrayal of Mr. Freeze, that is the biggest challenge to make that character believable, realistic, and grounded. Like, and if anyone could have done it, it would have been Christopher Nolan. That's why it would have been fun.
I think that we talked about this, and he doesn't like Mr. Freeze, and this is the dang it. Okay, there's a couple things I want to say, but we'll save it later. Anyway,
thank you for letting me get all that out.
No, you're good. And I think I know why that. Basically, I think I know why that you feel like you can't follow up, or no one can like follow up that performance, is because we skipped over the whole Joker arc. I feel like in the third movie, you still deal with the impact of the Joker, so it feels like he's not just disappeared or that was just the last movie. Here's a new thing that's as cool as that, but not really. But
8 years later is a long time.
Yeah.
They literally all they did was they just played it off the.
They did a quick mention.
Yeah. It was just Harvey Dent. Like they didn't even really talk about the Joker
at all.
It was like because the lasting impact was so bad because the Harvey Dent. And I love your idea that they keep hitting on the Joker and like make it more of like a both of them thing. You know, like after the Joker came and.
What if you see like Harley Quinn inspired by the Joker's like performance or his like killings and all that? That Harley Quinn is like, oh, I'm so in love with him. The idea I just can't meet him anymore because he's locked up or something. And then she goes on her own like, you have like pretty much Harley Quinn is the secondary level like villain. Just
I don't think you
inspired
can do
by.
that because I don't think you can have Harley Quinn without Joker. That's like
exactly what I was
so
saying.
Well,
you can't do that.
It's like knowing that, like, even if the character exists in jail, like, it's cringy from an audience perspective, just
Okay, yeah, I
knowing
see
that,
what you're
like, you know what I mean? It's
That
like,
he's like gone,
bro,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's either you recast him and everyone's pissed, or you, like, do some weird phone shit where she's calling jail and, like, you see the back of his head or some shit.
No,
And it's like,
yeah,
and
no,
it don't
no,
work,
no,
dog.
no,
It's,
yeah.
it's so hard.
I was thinking of like her just like always admiring a picture or something.
and
Like
it
it's
makes
like
sense if
almost-
he's around. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It
because
makes,
then you
like,
get that actual.
that would have been the
conflict.
perfect secondary character for him. Like
I just think that
someone
when it
he
came to the
actually
Dark
loved.
Knight,
Yeah. You could have Joker. And
I'm talking about
Harley
Heath
Quinn
Ledger's Joker. When you think about him in Dark Knight, like, he doesn't love anything.
yeah,
Maybe his mom when he talks about her, but like he switches up the story so much that you don't even know if he had a mom. Like, you know, what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, I know,
You
like-
didn't really have a mom, sir. But like, if someone came into like a scene where like he did give a fuck and that was Harley, like for that character specifically, like Heath Ledger's continuation, if we did get that, like that would have been a cool fucking curveball to throw in there, like
Yeah.
just to add something.
Because then you have Robin, Batman.
Because would he
versus
lie to
Joker.
her about his backstory? Eventually, you know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah,
That could be a good character moment, but not.
yeah, I would really like to see that. If Heath Ledger would have like in the third one and like had a Harley Quinn with it, that would have been the ultimate Dark Knight
But
Rises.
onto your Mr. Freeze idea. We talked about.
I'm a little
this.
bit more willing to listen now.
Okay. Because I got the Hufflepuff with me. No.
We're not bringing Hufflepuff up ever again
Okay,
on a
okay, I'm
podcast.
sorry. On the okay, as far as like the Nolanverse, it's hard to see Mr. Freeze work. I know, because he has like he basically has a superpower, a cold gun that I think that all can be workable. But the problem when reaching his character is how do you make him on like a city-wide scale of threat? Because granted, he can freeze the entire city, but that seems like a dumb plan. Like
And freeze the water.
I don't.
No one has water.
Freeze the water.
Freeze the
You're
water.
not freezing the city. Like, it's not frozen. You just freeze all their water lines. No one has water. There's no water in the city.
Okay.
But he can like unfreeze all the water. So he has access
I don't think
to
he
water.
can unfreeze things. I think
Oh,
he just freezes things
them?
too.
Oh, all right.
Doesn't
I
he?
think
I know it's not like
you
you
can only
can
shoot
never.
freeze.
I'm saying that
How does he
this
unfreeze
This
things?
guy's got to have a reverse.
I don't know if
I'm
he can
thinking
do
it's
it.
No,
done
I know,
like
I know.
a drill.
Just like
like you either spin this way or you spin that way. Like you either freeze or you unfreeze. Like, you know.
Well, I'm trying to think with
I hope.
Joker, Bane, and Ra's al Ghul. They all had wide scale, like city-wide threats. I don't see how you can like believably create a Mr. Freeze.
Are
that
you
is-
doubting the
ultimate-
story of Mr.
I'm just
Mr. Freeze
pointing
now
out the big
after
problem.
everything?
I think
I
there's a
love
main
the character.
There's
I-
a main thing we're all looking over
What?
that happened in this podcast, and I think you hit it on the head. Is how do we make Mr. Freeze have a wide scale thing?
You
Name
don't.
another character that you would be interested in after that Bane fiasco. I'm not even talking about Batman. We're talking purely on the villain's perspective, on a writing. Like, we're making this story. This is our threat. They're gonna attack the city. Who the fuck is gonna attack the city, and we're gonna give a shit? Because
Okay, what about-
I think the answer is you don't do that.
What about this?
I think you do the Arkham thing that you said, bro. You throw Batman into Arkham, and you have all the villains, bro. But it's so claustrophobically condensed, and it's like the movie
The Raid?
The Raid's a great example, but no, like Green Room. You guys ever see Green Room? That's about like a group of teenagers. They're like,
Oh
they
my
try to
God,
rob-
yeah, I know.
They try to rob like a blind man, and he like
you're talking
he
about
like
that
kicks
movie.
their ass. He like locks them in
What?
the house, and it's like, but it all takes place in a house.
It's
So I'm
like-
saying, like, what if you just threw him into like prison, and then fucking
Okay.
backfires, dog?
What about I like that idea and just
You said
Because it's a good
There's an
that they
artist
mentioned
to the
the
citywide
Joker
thing.
once in the Dark Knight Rises,
they
right?
do
Then
an
they
Arkham
said
Asylum. There's
like,
one patient there.
who left or something or escaped or what was it?
No, I think,
Everyone was.
I think he was just like the only one in a certain solitary cell. Like he was being kept far away from the other prisoners that no one like
Yeah,
opened the
that's
door for.
interesting.
But for an Arkham Asylum idea, what do you think of Bruce is the one who paid for it? He goes inside to like check it out one day, and it's Hugo Strange running the whole facility. However, inmate breaks out, and it's the Mad Hatter. Do you guys know who Mad Hatter is?
Yeah,
Yeah. What
I
if
mean,
he
I know of him through the Arkham games, but yeah.
He pretty much just dresses up the Mad Hatter and controls people's minds and shit. I feel like he could do it in a different, more believable way, where he takes control of the control tower and releases the most scariest Batman villains, like the monsters, like Man-Bat, Killer Croc, the like grotesque ones.
Hell yeah, we're getting
it's
Man
like-
Bat in a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Man-Bat. And you get pretty much Batman as like Bruce, or Bruce has to like figure out how to not get caught as Batman, but also like work his way through Arkham Asylum, taking on roles of like scariest villains to like free Hugo Strange. And that's when he turns out that Hugo Strange is the one that's like creating the monsters or torturing the monsters, or however you want to see them.
It's interesting. What about having a little? I like this idea that it was kind of like from within. Like, so if like Penguin came and maybe he did like run for mayor or something and ended up like getting elected, and he like pulls together like Amanda Waller, and like Amanda Waller like
Throwing
sends
some huge names here.
like it's just like, you know, it's just kind of like
Suicide Squad.
a government. No, I don't want like Suicide Squad, but I want like
Task Force X.
Yeah,
Suicide Squad.
maybe a version coming after Batman though, like directly, and it's all about him kind of trying to take it down from like within, you know.
Okay, so like when they did the Suicide Squad actual movie, they're like, who, if the Superman wanted to come in and take the president, who would stop him? But instead, you're thinking, who's gonna stop the Batman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially.
What are we? Some type of Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
You can. Oh my god. You can totally have that as like a, because the cops won't take him down, especially now that Gordon knows that it's Bruce. You could have Amanda Waller as the one who's actually going to do something about the Batman menace, and
she's like a federal agent or something.
I just want the movie like A Midnight in Paris, but with like Bruce Wayne and Anne Hathaway's character after they leave that cafe with Alfred.
Just a romantic,
just like a really romantic getaway. Like they're just falling in love in Paris with aliases, and they're just coming to terms with the fact that their lives are kind of pointless, like now, you know. Like
they get bored.
They're just bored. I feel like that's the only way to continue it. And this has been To Be Continued podcast. Thank you for watching.
Man, wait, hold on. I'm actually thinking like that could be the reason Bruce comes back to.
No. This is an awful idea.
How about Bruce tries?
That could be the first 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
like,
just about
Bruce
to say, if the first 20 minutes of my Batman movie involved
5 minutes. We're not doing 20.
a Midnight in Paris. All right, fine, true.
That's way too long.
It's like an up, like the beginning.
It can be 10
montage.
Well, I'm thinking like Bruce doesn't know how to be Bruce or a new person. He's like,
he doesn't know how to be just Bruce.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know how to not
drive himself crazy,
and has to return to Gotham to be the Batman
and fight Man-Bat and Mr. Freeze.
I like. Okay, how would the Mr. Freeze realistically? How would he look like in the Nolan-verse? What would he be like? What would you know?
Have you ever seen Ghostbusters?
Decide about like what
Ghostbusters.
Okay, wait. What about Ghostbusters?
I'm listening.
I'm listening. Okay, hold on.
Nah. Honestly, Mr. Freeze.
How could you make him a threat? Because he's a great villain.
Are we still on the hush screen?
No.
Okay. That one's the.
Are you the producer of the show?
Like, damn it!
Sorry, I'm learning stuff.
So this is how you do Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Listen up.
You cast Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
As a voice coach.
Oh.
As a voice coach.
And then you tell your actor, hey, every way that he says a word, you just don't do it like that.
Tom Hardy. Okay. Tom Hardy needs to be Mr. Freeze.
Not a fan. I'm thinking my Mr. Freeze is like kind of sleek. I know that's a little off key.
He was sleek in the the animated series.
I want him to be like a tall guy, but like I don't necessarily need him to be like this.
Doesn't need to be a hocus pocus. I feel like the suit should really do. Oh my gosh, that would be okay. Let's make it a more personal Wayne Enterprises story where you have him, him trying to cure disease for his daughter, working at Wayne Enterprises, but he uses the equipment to build his Mr. Freeze suit.
After he loses her. Or does it turn into he wants to freeze her body for scientific purposes or something, preserve her body or something until he finds a cure because he's about to run out of time, and then
I feel
she dies somehow.
Is this?
And then that's how she. Oh wait, it was his wife in the movies, right?
It was his wife in the movies that died. I think. Is it Nora? I think it's Nora.
Nora sounds right. Nora.
So I mean, you can make it instead of a citywide thing. Why don't you make it a company-wide thing, or the entire building is trapped in ice, and then he's going around the building trying to kill people. You have, I don't know,
more like an isolated, one day kind of.
Yeah, it just seems more like an episode rather than a full-on movie.
I think we all keep coming back to the idea that doing a citywide thing probably isn't what we would need in a fourth movie, especially after how if you're looking at how the third one was received, I almost think turning her back on like big threats is a good idea, but like big threats in smaller locations or smaller environments, whether it's just like a jail cell or the asylum or it's fucking
keep it more
the
confined.
building. But like that'd be such a different like that's like a different Batman too, forcing him to like always have these close counter like he's not like just jumping from building to building anymore. Like he's like has to like figure out how to kill somebody in an office building.
Like really zone in on the world's greatest detective, you know, not just like an action figure who kicks ass.
It would be cool to see like the first half of that movie.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Mr. Freeze, ex-employee, his wife dies. He had the tech to save his wife at the Wayne Enterprises, but they wouldn't let him, so now he blames them.
Or he works for the water district.
That's a good one, yeah. Gotham Water.
The Gotham Water District. And he got laid off. So he freezes everybody's water!
I know you said you didn't like the idea, but I honestly, the more I think about it, I would love the idea of having like a Riddler character, but like really, really like eerie and creepy, and then it's actual like world's greatest detective mystery kind of deal.
Would you want to see a puzzle or a more like a citywide puzzle, or just that like close encounter story of like a psychological mind battle?
What if he traps him underground, and the only way to get out is to solve all the riddles?
I think it's cool to have it like not because you said we don't want to really do it citywide, but if we were to do it like just like kind of the emotional like scare tactics just only on Batman and his family, like you could have Selena Kyle be like one of the reasons he gets scared, and Alfred because they're like, you know, both in danger or something by.
Okay, here I got you.
The Enigma.
I really like that Paris.
I got you. No. If there's any idea that you should like, that is not the idea. All right. Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
He's an employee of the water district.
Okay.
Gets fired. They kill his wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They kill his wife?
Yeah. I don't know why.
That was
We'll figure it out.
out of left
Maybe
field.
he makes a bomb
Look, that was a
Conspiracy
little.
theory.
Maybe Mr. Freeze.
He's pissed, dog.
Yeah.
He's pissed. Freezes
Whistleblower.
all the water. But his best friend, Edward Nygma,
Oh shit, y'all.
tells Batman, the only way you're gonna unfreeze the water is if you solve all these riddles. Then we do that movie, because we both agree that Mr. Freeze can't be the big threat throughout the whole thing, but if we give him like a partner, we get that Mr. Freeze action. The real problem is that all these water lines are frozen. But really, we're gonna see him face off against this Riddler.
I like the idea of the Riddler using Mr. Freeze.
I like the idea of us killing the whole
That's
Mr.
the thing,
Freeze
too, is
idea.
Mr. Freeze is so stupid that he thinks that it's his plan.
Well, maybe he's just too
Not stupid, but he's just like.
or he's a water district employee.
I'm saying he's so caught up in his bullshit, in his plan, bro. As a villain, he's stupid. As a scientist, he's brilliant. But like as like a mastermind, he's like thinking he's the mastermind. But he's getting played by Enigma. Enigma has his own agenda that he just wants to kill the Batman. But Freeze thinks,
Who would be your dream casting of the Riddler?
Mr. Freeze, boys.
Who would be your dream casting of the Riddler?
I don't know. I'm not too into the.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I was thinking like Johnny Depp. Maybe
if he beat less women.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I guess that was the thing. I apologize.
No, I'm just kidding, because he's getting fired for everything right now. So it's just like a funny topic.
honestly,
Like even like Disney's like literally like, we're gonna reboot Pirates even though we just put one out. Like no Johnny Depp, so maybe you'll go see him again.
I think that Pirates of the Caribbean just needs to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put him in the ride.
I know.
Kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe my face will be on there.
Maybe one day we should continue that.
Maybe.
I don't know. I like the legend and stories of that, but I don't like the characters anymore.
We will have to.
Anyway, okay. So wait, we were talking a long time ago about the Suicide Squad idea.
Okay.
What about Amanda Waller versus Bruce? Amanda Waller kind of sets up that whole like Batman vigilante task force, but wait, hold on, what was the name of? Okay, wait, Amanda Waller has that like on the low key like cards and tables. It's Bruce who's trying to like create a new police force, one that is like more just and more tactical. Like he's trying to work within the system to create some Batmen, but he has to like find out where all these supervillains are coming from who are just like causing havoc and then like dying in different. Oh god.
So you're talking like kind
I'm
of Dark
talking
Knight
like-
Rises?
I'm talking about like the Suicide Squad now being active in Gotham under the control of Amanda Waller, but Bruce Batman doesn't know.
So you want Batman to take on the Suicide Squad?
What are we, some type of Suicide Squad?
Yes. But I want him to be like a mystery. Like, where are these guys coming from? They keep killing themselves after they're caught.
Isn't Suicide Squad your favorite movie?
No.
Oh, that's Chad.
No. The Dark Knight's my favorite movie.
I'll never let that one
Suicide
die.
Squad close second.
No, far.
Suicide
far.
Squad's pretty low on the totem
Must have been
pole for
someone.
me personally.
Must have been
someone.
I
See,
really
for me, it goes like Suicide Squad and then Suicide Squad 2. Like, I already know it's gonna be like my second favorite movie ever.
You know what? This is I'm gonna say it.
What are you gonna say?
A Batman Beyond with Joseph Gordon-Levitt having the villain be, because you can do it now, a modern Mr. Freeze and Riddler.
And Man-Bat's in the first 5 minutes.
I like that.
That's the opening fight. Get Man-Bat in
Set
there.
the world in there. Like, whoa, it's different. Whoa, we got a man.
So
20 years is a long time.
So how old is Joseph Gordon-Levitt then? Like 40?
Oh shit. Okay, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's
So is
kid.
this right
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's kid's Terry. That's his son.
So then who's his mentor? Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
No, Bruce Wayne.
Ooh.
But Joseph
Ooh.
Gordon-Levitt
Ooh.
is Nightwing
Ooh.
in Bloodhaven.
Oh. Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
I got this.
Okay.
I got this.
I'm listening.
Boys.
So,
Alright. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, after that movie, comes back around. He's like, I gotta be Nightwing. Lives his life as Nightwing. Has a kid.
okay.
Maybe he retires, maybe he doesn't, maybe he dies in battle. But opening of that movie is we meet orphaned Terry.
Aw.
Because he
And
just lost
Joseph
his
Gordon-Levitt
dad.
was his dad.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt was his dad.
Oh, so Bruce Wayne
Finds
picks
out-
him up.
And Bruce Wayne comes out of the woodworks to be like, I knew your dad better than anybody, kid. Like, you didn't know your kid. Like, you didn't know this side of your dad. Let me show you. Boom, boom, boom. We got old Christian Bale back. We tied it with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt shit. You bring him in with the flashbacks, and then you have the kid being our Terry.
Dang.
Boom.
That tied it all together.
I really like that.
So who's his villain?
Cue Mr. Freeze. Now. I'm back.
I'll be back.
So
no, I was gonna say the modern kind of scary version of the Riddler, dude, would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Riddler can definitely pick up. He would be
Mr.
a
Reese.
Oh, Mr. Reese. That was a great clip.
I was.
Or-
Or
Fan theory.
What about
Explain-
Clayface?
Listen to this fan, Garrett. Listen to this fan theory.
I'm
Tell
a
him the
fan
fan
of
theory
Clayface.
about Riddler and the Dark Knight.
I mean, I take it as fact rather than theory.
All right.
theory,
I didn't mean
Do
to
you
insult
remember?
you.
No, you're good. Remember in the Dark Knight, there's a character named Mr. Reese
Yeah.
who like knows the identity of Batman and is gonna go on TV and say.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
His name is Mr. Reese. Sounds like
Mysteries.
There was supposed to be the Riddler in that movie, but they like said too many villains and just made him
Maybe.
a mystery.
Is it sad that I always forget that Two-Face was in it?
No, well, I mean,
Because it's like,
Two-Face
damn,
is
dude.
cool.
I thought that was a good way to do it. I liked how, like, it was
Yeah.
it was different. Like, you didn't need two big villains. You just needed him to, like, show that, like, side of, like, an average person,
Mhm.
like, falling to the darkness.
I would want to see.
Or, like, the White Knight turning into the Dark Knight. Like, you know what I mean?
I wanted to see his big battle right before Joker and Batman face off, because I forget, after Batman takes
His
on
big
Joker,
battle? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, I
like,
agree.
with his like family and stuff.
Like, you wanted the Joker to be at the end.
I wanted Joker to be at the end because after I see the Joker and Batman face off, I'm like, that was a great movie. Harvey Dent's doing some stuff now.
With the kid.
He's
Yeah.
got guns on.
I
kids
agree
and
with that.
stuff.
The sequence.
Because I forget about that, and then it's like, if I saw that in the beginning, I'd be like, wow, that was really personal and stuff. Now the stakes are even higher now that you've got these two boats and stuff. I mean, that's I mean,
the truth.
narratively, that's how it had to work out, but I would have liked to see that, like, scene before the Joker scene.
Okay.
Just as, like, watching it.
Very interesting. Would you like to see, if there was the Batman Beyond, would you like to see like a modern take on the Joker? Like, remember how there was like a new Joker that surfaced or something like that?
That would have been great, and I would have been down for Jared Leto saying that he was the new Joker or something like that, rather than him being a Joker. I like the idea of somebody imitating the Joker's like presence.
Yeah.
Especially in a Batman Beyond, you can definitely be like, I'm trying to bring back the classics, so am I.
Well, with that being said, are you guys excited for the Joaquin Phoenix Joker?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think
Maybe.
that's like it's just different enough. Like, it's just a touchy thing to like try and do these like art house. I think trying to do I don't picture Joker like that character even being like winning an Oscar ever again. Like it's like such a weird thing. Like I just don't think people. I think it's already happened, so it's like no matter how good he is, like it'll never like still be that good because it's already been done like perfect.
Yeah.
So it's such a weird thing, but it is good that they're doing it like away from Batman. It'll like give the character more screen time than we've ever seen.
I hope there's a lot of
that
Batman
spin will add
Easter
something
eggs.
like context. They've cast young Bruce.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I've just heard a lot of rumors, and I don't like watching these rumor videos, and I don't have to click on it. It just pops up on my YouTube channel. But I see all these like headlines of like what's going on with the movie, and frankly, I don't know what I'm in for, but I'm definitely liking the tone and the colors and everything of this story.
I like the time period too. It's like 80s,
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah, right.
I like the idea of it, and I'm excited to see it and all that. I just don't want to.
It's like it's
Like,
supposed to be
I don't want to.
he's a comedian.
Oh, you
Is the
know
comedian gone wrong
Batman's
or something
dad's
like
gonna die at the end of that movie.
Oh,
His parents are gonna die.
Or
Like,
within
there's-
it at some point.
I think if you're gonna cast a young Bruce Wayne, why else would you do that?
Yeah.
I could have been. I don't know. Would you guys have been fine not having a Batman in that movie or not having a Bruce in that movie? Just
Yeah,
having it a
I think-
Joker. So
I don't know.
Because it's young. Like the time period don't make sense.
I mean, yeah, I would, yeah, as far as like his age and he's young and stuff, that like it's kind of like, oh, well, this is just a one-off thing. That's just basically what they're like yelling at you with. But I don't know. I could have seen.
Are we gonna see Joker kill the parents? Do you think
Possibly,
you?
I don't know.
What if they'd spun it and like Joker like
What
was this close to stopping it?
Stop it.
Isn't there a storyline where they do kill,
Each other.
where he-
they
where,
create
like-
each other. Are you talking about?
or like the Joker is secretly the one who killed his parents or something?
that's,
There was
uh,
one
that's
of the
Michael
Batmans.
Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. That's
Oh,
in
is
the
that it?
movie.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like if you just have a Joker movie solo, I just want to see him maybe set it up like they're doing with Godzilla and King Kong. You know, like have a solo. Oh, I can't
Just
do
to
another
build up.
solo Batman movie though. I'm down for the solo Joker
No,
movie.
I think
But
you
was thinking
can't.
Solo Batman.
Well, you could, I guess. If Joaquin Phoenix's Batman or Joker's so good, it's like what happens to this Justice League Batman stuff. Like
Yeah,
I just
like
don't. I don't think you can do a sequel. Maybe like Joker dies in this shit. Maybe it's that condensed, where it's just we see the life and death of this motherfucker in one movie.
Then you'd have to have Batman.
Not necessarily. Yeah, I guess you would.
Yeah,
you would.
Well-
That would piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, like what the fuck was
If
that?
he died- You're telling me the Joker died before Batman was ever alive, and then we find out
Like he has a
that
kid or
later on in
something.
life there was a guy who idolized this guy who went by the Joker, and that's the real Joker that fights that Batman when he's of age.
Okay, man.
Woo! All right, what's
There you
up?
go.
Okay, wow. That was awesome. Okay.
I think he's implying that he wants you to be the Joker. How did you feel about that?
Oh, well, I mean,
I just wanted to bring back the whole someone loves the Joker and they're inspired
no,
by him.
I appreciate that. I mean, I felt the connection just from like the shoulder rubbing.
Yeah, the
That
shoulder rubbing was enough to
that
like
was-
really just set it in place that I was like trying to embody what you would want.
Well, no, I just meant that solo felt great, but that when you put it on, truthfully,
Truth.
all right.
But yeah, I think it's a touchy subject, just touching the Nolan-verse, but it is possible.
Let's
Like
see.
it would have been possible.
Yeah, I would have liked to see it, rather than kind of what we got in its place.
All right, so we all agree on that, like that we're for the fourth movie that we'd want to see a Batman Beyond story, with Mr. Freeze in it, right?
A hint, maybe.
A lot.
A
A
lot.
Just
lot.
throw him in there.
Get him in here.
Get Mr.
Chris?
Freeze. We want Mr. Freeze. And then you have Terry McGinnis. Okay, yeah. I feel like with the time being so like prolonged, that would be great because we haven't been to the Nolan-verse in a long time. It'll feel like really like a fresh energy.
Definitely.
All right. Well, any closing statements here, guys?
Mr. Freeze, Man Bat, you guys, and Clayface. Hell, there's even
And
Frozen.
Kite
There's and Kite Man's pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
Man. Thank you.
yeah. Calendar Man, we could get him in there too.
Ooh, he would make a great. We need like a Halloween version,
Yeah.
like a Batman horrific
Halloween
tales or something. I don't know. Let's get
I
some
love it.
scary.
I feel like maybe we get Clayface in there. We get him and Mr. Freeze to team up. They make him Frozen Clayface. Beautiful, beautiful.
Frozen Clayface.
Yeah.
Darius, closing statements?
I mean, okay, real quick, that would be just a quick awesome scene to see them defeat each other. Like Clayface like uses his clay to like solidify Mr. Freeze. Batman takes Mr. Freeze's gun. Freezes
I used to work
Clayface
at
and just
Toys R
watches them
Us.
both get stuck.
We used to sell this called Frozen Clayface.
Frozen clay. That's an ugly Clayface.
And I
Wow.
don't know if it's from any comic book or anything, but this came in a Play Next playset.
Okay.
So if we could get that in a movie, that'd be great.
I think it's
Okay,
cool that
huh?
he worked at Toys R Us. Oh, okay.
Another life.
Another life.
Yeah.
Okay. Any closing statement for
Rest
you?
in peace.
Yeah, you know, I think we can. Now I'm kind of sad that they didn't do that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It
And Mr. Freeze.
seemed some modern Batman Beyond.
And Clayface.
And Clayface. I could use some frozen
So if
clay.
they're gonna bring back Batman Beyond, some Frozen clay.
Someone get this
Frozen
man
clay.
some frozen clay. Let's do this.
Give me-
ASAP.
You're
give me some
selling me on it.
closing
That's
fray.
a great dessert. I've
Frozen
been there.
clay. I've been Gary.
I've been Jake. Thank you for listening, folks. Have a wonderful evening.
That's good.
That was good.